We're just gonna go, man. We're just gonna go. All right, here we are. No, not like that. Oh,
And
now
we're
we're
rolling.
rolling. Oh
Here
man,
we
I'm
go.
all amateur hour over here. And 3, 2, 1. Hey, we are broadcasting from Nevada right now. This is Mark Ice Roberts in
Rod Titty Rings.
Yeah, we are in Nevada, and this is Let's Get Into It. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Ty Peterson
That's
is
a
on
name.
the ones
That's
and
a
twos,
like.
handling boom and sound on
Yeah.
the movie then Feliz Navidad.
Yeah.
And
You did it, Robert. You're making your movie, bro.
I know. Look, thank you. He's kind enough to be here, hooking us up on the show today. So got a
Shout out.
shout out to you. You know, he worked the entire week, hooked things up, and he gave us great sound on our movie. And now he's in here hooking us up. So thank you.
Yeah.
Ty's the man. Got up early for this. We're up here at 6 a.m.
Yeah, right. I still woke up at like 6 a.m. Did you?
I did too, yeah.
I have to force myself to
But
go back
that
to sleep.
sleep from 6 to like 9
Yeah.
is the best sleep of the week. But let's get into it. We've been talking about Made in Mexico.
Yep.
Coming to like a very, very nice finale.
I actually showed Lopez his piece yesterday.
And what did he think?
He liked it. He was like, I want to see more, Tootie. Where's the rest?
Good.
Yeah.
So we have that. And then we've been talking about this whole COVID scenario where movies sort of stopped, cities stopped. Everyone was sort of mandated to stay home and not work. And that was a big deal. We were in the middle of getting our movie made, and that had to stop too. They halted everything. We all halted everything. And to get back into it,
Yeah.
we had to do a lot of stuff. Tootie, thank you for being here in Nevada doing the movie.
Thank you for having me.
It's incredible to have friends around you while you're making a movie. It's the
Got a
coolest
little
thing in
part
the world.
too. Could look it up.
Got a part yesterday.
Distinguished man.
That's
Yeah.
right. Distinguished man. Stole that from a friend of yours.
Yeah.
But when I was getting this started, I'm working with Paula Hart, who's a legendary, amazing producer.
Yep.
Has done multicam, has done films, has done just pretty much done it all.
Yep.
But to get this thing going, we had to have lots of conversations with, SAG, because these actors have to be safe.
Yep.
I think the idea that people were coming back to work still scared people, because we're in a business where there's sometimes 75 to 100 people in one room trying to shoot one scene.
Yeah.
Right? So you got actors, you got makeup artists all over there. You got everyone's touching everyone. You got sound putting, sound mics on people, and it's a touchy business. We're in a tight space. So what we had to do, if you're out there listening and you've pushed your movie, I just want you to know it's possible. We can do this. We're doing it. We did it.
Yeah.
We had lots of conversations. We had to come up with a protocol that keeps people safe. We had to eliminate a lot of things that are luxuries on movies, trucks, additional rooms for people to stay in. The one thing that's super shocking is things like craft service are not there. Why? Because it's a communal thing. You got a table, everyone's reaching into these boxes to get cookies, to get nuts, to get whatever you snack on that keeps you sustained during the day. Water, you can't have water on the set.
Yeah.
You can't have plastic bottles. Why? Because you leave your plastic bottle, someone else grabs it, drinks out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Rona. So that's a big change. Our caterer is making individual meals. Make sure you're safe. They're cooking with gloves on. They're making sure that everything's sanitized.
It's good, by the way. The food's good.
And the food's terrific, right?
Yeah.
They take care of us. But, everyone's wearing a mask. Everyone's staying at 6 feet. Everyone had to be tested prior to arriving. You had to come with a test.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be negative. We're being tested every week, and we're required to sanitize our hands at the very least every hour. We had to hire a medic. We had to hire a COVID PA. This person is trained in first aid.
Yep.
And our medic is obviously a medic, a nurse, potentially a doctor. I mean, this is pretty serious. I mean, in addition to having to make movies, but I will say this: you, myself, Mario Lopez, Paula Hart, Melissa Joan Hart. We're all professionals. And I speak for everyone on the crew. I'm just mentioning us because we're always here and we're always talking about this. But I think we really feel that it's our job to entertain, to continue to make product so that people can be happy and enjoy themselves during Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Christmas movies make people smile. They make people happy. They give you a warm feeling. And if we weren't out here forcing the issue, trying to work under these complicated circumstances, I think we wouldn't feel like we were doing our job. What do you think about that?
I think you're right. I think the show must go on, dude. I mean, yeah, we gotta do, follow guidelines and kind of, try to stay as safe as we can. But movies got to be made.
Has it been complicated for you? Like, what changed for you in the department of
makeup? Yeah,
in the department of makeup.
Well, I'm really just working with Lopez as of now. I did Frankie's makeup yesterday. Just sanitize, like make sure your brushes are clean. And a lot of times makeup's a trippy thing because you don't really, although I'll use the same makeup, I put the makeup on something before I apply it on somebody. So I can sanitize what I put it on. You know what I mean?
Is that different than what you used to do, or you used to do it anyway?
I do it like that anyways. But when you're since I do more of like men's makeup now, women were different because you got to use your colors, right? It's kind of like communal. So the eyeshadows you use, but the brushes are all supposed to be clean. So, you clean them as best as you can, but it is what it is. Look, I mean, this thing is what it is. So we just got to do it, and just stay as safe as we possibly can.
But to do Frankie's makeup and Mara's makeup, you cannot use the same makeup or the same brush, right?
I use different brushes, dude.
Yeah, different brushes. No
on Frankie, I use a separate brush. Yeah, because Lopez has his own stuff.
Yeah.
I use the stuff for Frankie. I used different brushes and everything.
So let's talk about this, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yesterday there was a part of a distinguished man in the script.
Yeah, that was supposed to be Blankett's role.
Right. So yesterday we're sitting there. We have to do the scene.
Yeah.
And Lopez is all, let's get Tootie to do the distinguished man. And you stepped up. You put on my black sweater.
Yeah.
You looked very distinct. You put
my
on
reading
your glasses.
On. Well, the trip is the reading glasses are for reading, so I don't wear glasses. So when I had to come out of the door to walk down the steps to pick up the paper, I was feeling like I was kind of like drunk, like that. Whoa,
because you can't see that well.
You can't. Yeah, so I was like, but
Yeah, that's funny. But I gotta say, location is everything, right? Because it was a beautiful White House.
Yeah,
it had black trim. Your sweater was black. I think you had a white shirt on.
Yep.
Okay, so the image of that with
black
your glasses,
yeah.
You walking out, you looked rich. You looked distinguished.
The beard's a little salt and pepper.
Yeah, the beard, salt and pepper. And then you guys, because you know each other so well, the rapport was nice. So you figure in a Christmas movie, you're going to see that scene and you'll be like, oh, wow, I wish I lived in a neighborhood like that.
Yeah.
I wish I knew a distinguished man.
Yeah. Well, that's my guy. He brings me good packages, So I know
he doesn't mess them up.
Yeah. So I had to tell him, take care, kid, when he left.
Exactly. So that was awesome. But, we've had a good first week. We don't have a lot to shoot.
Great first week.
Yeah, it was a great first week.
Yeah.
Lopez, very impressive how much he works. I just dropped off my key so that he can drive back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And he was working on his lines, and I was in a rush, so I went in. I said, "Here's my keys." He goes, "Hey, hang on." He gave me the script, and he had already memorized one of the scenes.
Yeah.
I know he has 10 pages. He has like 4 scenes on Monday.
Yeah.
But the extreme professionalism that these guys are all showing because we're in this scenario where you got to be ready, you got to be prepared. We're not shooting that many days. We want to get people home so that they're safe, and they're doing a good job. Everyone seems comfortable. So again, I want to say, if you're out there, you're making a movie, you're concerned about COVID, there are now protocols. We're using them. Other films are I know that we were one of the first films out in this environment.
Yeah,
with COVID. And but now there was a SAG rep who came and double checked everything, made sure actors were safe, make sure we were following protocol. Apparently, we passed with flying colors, which was pretty cool. And he said that there was 8 other films starting around the country.
Yeah.
So it's possible if you feel like, in a lot of ways, I think, locations, because they are closed, because they're not making a lot of money right now, you can get the locations. You can actually rent a place to shoot your scenes.
Yeah.
And possibly it'd be okay. The only thing that we had to change is now we don't have extras.
Yeah.
All the extras got pushed out of the way. Distinguished man wasn't, we have to use someone that's a negative on our set, right? So that was you.
Yeah.
I was the mariachi in a scene yesterday.
Melissa's in a scene on Monday.
Yeah.
Paula was in a scene on Tuesday. You know what I mean?
So that has changed. And, I got to say this. I feel like every movie there's kind of, you have different problems, different complaints. And sometimes because we're so spoiled, those complaints are about food or about the car you're being driven in, about, all that kind of like minutia, the snacks, what I'm eating for breakfast. I want egg whites with half an avocado, that kind of stuff. I haven't heard any of that here. I mean, look, granted, if you're an actor, you have every right to ask for your food however you want it. You have every right to say no salt. You're an actor. Right. You're on camera. You don't want to be puffy. You know what it takes to be a professional. So I have no problem with that. Everyone else,
deal with
it. you want to get your own stuff.
Working.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to deal with it. Yeah. But you can't just walk up to people. But I feel like there's been less complaints about stuff like that. I think everyone has really been cool about just understanding where we're at, what we're doing, and everyone's just kind of working. And we're getting out, at reasonable times. I don't think people are totally slammed. I think we're kind of moving at a quick pace.
Yeah, we are. And that's the one thing that I'm concerned about is like it is so smooth and it is so like we're not getting out, the days are pretty short considering, but we're doing like 5 to 7 pages a day.
A little under 6 pages a day, which I always feel manageable. I think indies have to do 10. I think sometimes indies have to do 10.
I think so, dude. Yeah. Because it's smooth and I mean, if it's planned out the duration of what we have and we're going to get everything, I just feel like it's like a tidal wave, right? Yeah. Like it's pulling out and then next week or there's going to be a big rush and it's going to be long days. But hey, that's what we do.
But here, I will say this. We are doing well. We are protecting ourselves. We're not concerned about the protocols and all that because we're following them. But we did a scene the other night down here at in a plaza.
Yep.
Our crew and our actors were all, there's a picture of everyone wearing masks. There was about 60 spectators hanging out, watching, enjoying the shooting.
Yeah.
Not one of them had a mask on.
No. Not one.
So how does that work?
Well, I mean, then we can go into the whole Rona thing. But
no, we don't want to get into Rona politics.
Yeah.
I think it's just an interesting opening. And again, if you're out there, you want to get your movie done, you feel responsible, you feel to your investor, you feel responsible to the people that want to go out and get some entertainment made, it's possible.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's going to take a lot of effort. I don't know. I feel like we should post or have information somewhere, let's get into it, where you could find like the protocol, where you can find who we had to talk to clear, actors and crew, what the test was like, where we got those tests, because a lot of those tests were free.
Yeah.
Some of them were expensive, but a lot of them were free if you planned ahead.
Yeah.
So I think let's talk to Davey Dave about getting that. By the way, shout out to Davey Dave, who's not here.
Yeah.
We know he wants to be here. But shout out to Davey Dave because he's usually on the 1s and 2s, helping out with some positive information.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, I want to talk to Ty. Can I talk to Ty for a second? I want to hear. Now, Ty is in charge with also Matt of all of the sound that occurs on this film. Other films, I'm sure you'll tell us a little bit about what you do. But has it been complicated, Ty? And what are the different procedures? What's different than what you normally do with an actor to mic them up and get all this done? And are you doing anything to sanitize stuff? Because obviously we all have to get like, what do you call those? The earphones from you guys?
Yeah, the IFBs.
Yeah. So tell me about what you guys have been experiencing on this thing.
Yeah. So it's definitely been interesting. Following the protocol is, like you were mentioning before, we are right in the battle. We are connected with artists and with with actors, and we're hands on. We're very much hands on normally every day.
And what do you like? You have in some cases, like you're not always booming scenes, right? People have to get mic'd up. In the cases of micing people up, you no longer have the ability to go over and like hook it to their pants or to their bra or to whatever you do, right? It's a different system now.
Right. So now kind of what we're doing is we're handing off lavaliers to talent, and they're putting them on themselves. Unfortunately, it just kind of is what it is. Yeah. If and when we do have to make an adjustment, we're putting on gloves. We're going in there. We have masks on all day long, and we do step in for a moment and make that adjustment. But thankfully, working with quality talent, Mario Lopez, Anna Lynn, they've done it many times. They're true professionals. So Tootie's been putting it on there. He's been getting the lav rocking for us. So we appreciate that.
Am I what?
Are you wearing the gloves too?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm doing Access Hollywood. We still have to do Access every day from out here.
Oh my God, dude, that's right. I didn't get into that.
Yeah, and we did so well with like the first 3 days, that they added Access daily. So now we're doing the whole show.
And you were doing it from Mario's house. So now that we're on location, it must be kind of cool for Access to have like, him on a movie, him reporting from, sometimes the set. He's actually reported in uniform, right? In his outfit. So Ty, what else does anything else? I mean, aside from the guys being true professionals, I feel that too. I feel like they've all been taking responsibility for their stuff. But like, for instance, producers who have to wear headsets to listen to all of the words that are being said in a movie. I took mine off the first day, and I sanitized it and did all of the proper things, and then I gave it back, and I wasn't supposed to give it back, and then I got in trouble by the medic, and then we had to do all the stuff. But what are we doing to make sure that that we're not transferring stuff within the equipment that you're giving us?
Right. So yeah, like you're mentioning, there are things that we have to distribute amongst the crew, producers, Video Village, those IFBs. So yeah, so we're sanitizing those, wiping everything down that comes in and out.
And I'm keeping mine.
You're keeping yours. That's been a beautiful thing too. Is half of the guys have been keeping their own equipment. We're just swapping out batteries.
And that's a way to keep it safe, right? For instance, instead of using the headset you guys have, I'm using my my earphones from my iPhone. Right, so I've been using that. That plugs right in. So that's my own. I sanitize it. I hold it. I keep what's it called? The thing that I wear on my belt?
Yeah, the IFB or a Comtech.
I'm wearing the Comtech, the IFB on my belt. I bring it home. No one else touches it. So that's different for me. It takes more responsibility for the crew, for producers to make sure that they take care of that, because if we lose it, we got to pay for it. But those types of things are different. Those types of things are efficient, I think.
Yeah.
And, we're all taking responsibility for it. So is there any difference about where you're standing with the boom or where the boom is? I guess not, right?
Right. I mean, the boom just inherently tends to be at least 6 feet away.
Yeah,
most of
at
the time.
least, right? Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the shots. But we are having to rely on the boom quite a bit more, just with the fact that we're not able to get in there and kind of mic exactly as we would like. Sometimes, we're coming into some issues like that. But boom's been sounding great. Everything rocking and rolling, and we're loving it. Yeah.
Now, I'm an indie producer. Rod, who's Rod? Tootie is an indie producer. You're probably are you a producer? What do you do?
Just short films, but mostly sound. And I do a little bit of studio engineering stuff as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So sound's your thing in real life?
Yeah. I mean, music as well. I do a lot of interviews and working with musicians and artists like that.
That's great.
I love it. I'm a big fan of picture as well, you know, but But yeah.
But sound's your jam.
Sound's a jam.
That's cool. No, it's interesting because I when you're on a small film like this, like, they called me up and they said, hey, you got to go pick up the picture truck.
Right.
And I was like, where's it at? And I was like, 30 minutes. And I was like, well, I said, okay, well, give me someone that's, be in charge of the truck, and I'll drive them over. I'll sign for it. I'll do it all. So I took a ride with the guy who works, Tony. He works in art department. And, we're driving, and I'm asking questions like, what do you do? Did you go to film school? And it's funny. Every department, not always does every department just want to be their department. A lot of these people are filmmakers. A lot of these people make their own movies, on their off time. This is a way to make a living, save some money, go back and do your art, So I just think it's fun to hear what people do. Like, you're holding the boom, but you're involved in recording music. You're involved in doing other work in the area of sound and recording and mixing and all that. It's pretty cool. Look at you're sitting here right here with us today because of your expertise. We're able to do this, with pretty much not a whole lot of effort because you know what you're doing.
Right on.
If Ryan and I were here, we'd be fucking sitting here till 2:00 in the afternoon trying to figure on our phones. That's right. Yeah. Okay, but what I wanted to ask about is,
which, by the way, I did. It was funny because the other night, Frazier, Mario's producer from his radio show producer, before we left, handed me a little mic and put it into my phone and downloaded the app. And he said, just have Lopez do. This is where he's going to do radio from. Are you serious?
Really?
So yeah. Wow, and the other night, after a few drinks, we went up to Lopez's room. I go, dude, we got to do your radio. Frazier's texting me. He did his radio from his couch right there. I was holding my phone with a little mic, sent it. Frazier said, awesome, sounds amazing. Thank you. So, dude, it's incredible.
It is incredible. Let's talk about this right before we get back to the Mexican restaurant. What do you think? What's happening? Like the ability to do entire shows from your backyard on Access Hollywood, from your kitchen, where, you only have a producer, a camera guy, and you, and your talent. That's 4 people. How many people does it take to shoot Access Hollywood? I'm guessing.
Well, out here, it's me, Shulman, his manager,
right,
and a camera guy. That's all we got.
So that's 3 people.
That's 3 people, and really the only.
And it looks, by the way, amazing from out here.
And then I had to hold my phone to do the Zoom call yesterday because he did Access Daily, which is a Zoom call.
Right.
So Lopez was on my phone doing his Zoom, and it's really incredible because we're doing a nationally syndicated entertainment show from here with, not much. And it looks great.
And it's changing the way you do stuff.
Yeah.
Mario did his radio show from his iPhone out on location, and it probably sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if this changes networks and studios' idea. I know it's not going to, but I think it's my indie mind too, that makes you feel like it's going to change things. People are going to use less people. People are going to use less stuff, but it's not true. People like studios and networks like to spend money, and they like to do it right, and they want to make sure that all kinds of backup there. So I think that's the answer probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I have been seeing more, maybe on red carpets and things like that where people are shooting with their phone and they have a mic plugged right into the phone.
Right.
And then the phone is like, rigged to a $12,000 Sackler tripod.
You know what I mean? That's funny, yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, there is going to be more of that as technology, is coming up, kind of more one-man band type of guerrilla shooting out there.
Go do it, yeah. Just go get it done. It's weird because when you start in the business and you're a young filmmaker, and you do a scene like we did yesterday, we're in a Mexican restaurant. The restaurant's open because we can't shut it down. We can't afford that. So people start to come in around 10 a.m., right? It's a bar.
Yeah.
So all the locals that are drinkers show up at 10 a.m. for their 10 a.m. drink. No judgment.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad.
But then it starts to get loud, right? So sound is starting to have issues. Here's the thing, is that as an indie, I have figured out that these mics are so powerful and so directional that whatever sound's happening around that place, even though it sounds to us, it sounds loud,
right?
It just becomes sort of muffled background. Is that right?
Yeah, there's.
I'm asking the wrong guy now because
no.
this is the guy who goes, "Hang on, I hear a truck coming."
I know. Yeah,
airplane. Hang on.
We do hear everything, and in situations like that, we have to use discretion. What works is that it's motivated. Restaurants are loud; they do have background chatter. You're going to add that in later. You're going to add more background chatter.
That's right.
And later, part of the bed that's going to be in there. Plus mic selection, things like that make a big difference in how much rejection we have and how tight we can get in there with a mic.
Right.
Can make a big difference.
But overall, if you're a young filmmaker making a scene, it doesn't have to be dead silent, right? You just hear one thing drop, or you hear a Coke can hit the table. Like those things don't ultimately, unless it's on a line.
Right. If it steps on a line,
that's different.
Yeah, then that'll be different. I would want to get it again. Otherwise that might be a situation that you might have to come back in and ADR,
and then you ADR stuff. People hate ADR.
Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to the restaurant yesterday and the patrons, and you hear forks and you hear knives and you hear cups and you hear you hear people laughing, and it was the most beautiful walla I think I'd ever. If I had heard that walla, I'd be like, oh my God, it sounds amazing.
Exactly.
So it was natural,
Yeah.
And I have a tendency to be like, I'm good with natural. Someone, I think Herb, the guy who is playing Willard, asked me last night. He goes, what do you think of the sound and the issues that we've had? I said, I'm very, very indie. I go, I know these mics work and I know that they're powerful, and I don't have an issue with it. And then I think the other day we had a generator that you can hear really well.
Yeah.
But I want to mention there is what we use on our show.
Extreme music?
Not extreme music. No, what we use on our show is we use a program which is free online called Audacity.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Audacity is a free program that people created that know what they're doing. And if I hear a consistent sound on our podcast, whatever it is, I can literally remove that sound from the entire podcast. If there's a refrigerator, or if there's a truck, or if sometimes I have a blower, like a
leaf blower,
a leaf blower. But because of that, I can remove that sound specifically, and it removes it. So I know that when we're sitting there and that generator's going, it's a constant hum, and we can remove that. If Audacity could do it, which is a free program, I'm pretty sure at the highest level you can remove any sound as long as it's consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're saying, the consistency makes a big difference, and, there's software that can learn that sound, like you're mentioning, and, either bring it way down or, just match it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do in post. There's de-rustle if you get a little bit of rustle. There's like plosives, like popping into the mic or certain things like that. You want to put like a companders on it, which brings the noise floor down, and things like that.
That's cool. Well, I want to thank you, Ty, for first of all for being here, for hooking us up, and also for doing a great job on the movie. It's a lot of fun to have you.
I did that web series we were just talking about.
Yeah. The Good Life.
The Good Life, and I'll never forget. Our sound went out, and our sound operator, he wasn't very good, obviously. He kept messing with his headphones, and long story short, he didn't record or something happened. We had no audio, and
the whole time, or
for like a whole episode.
Oh shoot!
Pretty much like a whole episode, or like 3/4 of an episode. So we had to get creative with it, but you couldn't just ADR it. And it was such. It picked it up on the camera. It didn't pick it up on the mic or the boom.
Okay, so you had a little something.
But it was so. But I remember we took it to a sound guy, an engineer, and he did the best he could, and he pulled it off. But at that point, I remember thinking, like, man, sound is like one of the most important things, because without sound, what do you got? A silent movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if it's not structured like a silent movie, then you're.
So I want to talk about extreme music, because they came into play yesterday in a very, very different way.
All right.
So I was going to play the mariachi extra in the scene in the restaurant.
You did. You were badass.
Right. So I come in, but they all said, hey, you're the mariachi, you're going to be playing the guitar. Yeah. I know that I could have just pretended and it would have been fine, but I felt like I needed motivation. Like I needed to know what song I was playing. I needed to know what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
So I went on to Extreme Music. I got to talk to Russ about licensing it, but I went on to Extreme Music and I punched in flamenco or Latin guitar.
Yeah.
And all these songs came up.
Yeah.
And I picked one and we played it back in the scene that I played to, and now I'm going to license it from Extreme Music. But that was a scenario that was very different than just picking music. I had to pick a song that was romantic, that was just guitar, no other instrument, and that felt like something that you'd hear from a mariachi guitar player in a restaurant. And it was amazing, I thought it was really, really
you did
cool.
It. And your character, dude, it was good because on the monitor I was watching and you came in. Yeah, exactly.
I was leaning
Lopez
my
was
head
cracking
forward.
up because what were you doing? You were kind of making gestures to him, like.
I had decided, along with Melissa Joan Hart, our director, of course, I would never decide on my own, that I was going to be suggestive. So as I'm playing the guitar, this beautiful,
and you were pointing
I'm pointing the guitar at Mario, and I'm suggesting, hey, this beautiful lady, you should be doing something. If not, I may.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But it was a lot of fun. I played with it. I've seen those mariachis play for years.
Listen, you were an actor back in junior high school.
In high school, I played Riff in the West Side Story.
I saw the picture, your headshot. You showed it to me the other day.
Right.
We should post it on Let's Get It on the Instagram. See, I'm
18.
getting old
Someone
now.
may want to cast me.
You never
It
know.
may happen.
You were supposed to be cast in Made in Mexico. You were
That's
Marco
it.
Antonio.
I know, but I don't have those kinds of chops. But we did. But you do, and I think what we should post is your reading with Mario the other night.
Stupid, such a dick.
because that is something people should see.
No, they should not see it. It was a cold read, and you were breaking balls,
Oh my
and it was
God.
worse because all you did was laugh. Like I didn't even get a chance to read because as soon as I started, you just laughed and laughed.
You know what? It was one of the
Such a
best.
dick.
It was the best laughs ever. Like when they're just telling you, like, don't laugh, and like you can't stop. Like you couldn't even. You would read and you'd be like, David, what? And like like at that, so you weren't even saying anything, but at that moment I'd start like, and
laughing.
I was like Muttley. I couldn't. It was the funniest.
And then I started messing up on purpose. A little bit.
Oh, really? Because that shit was funny too. Yeah. No, I had to leave the room. It just was, and then I went upstairs and showed everybody and laughed.
Yeah, what a dick.
Yeah.
You know what?
Funny.
Defamation of character. Now they're like, oh, whatever.
Oh my God,
that guy. That guy's
guy.
awful.
Yeah, but then the next day you got Distinguished Man, so obviously there's no issue there.
That's true.
But no, we're stoked about being out here. I think it's complicated when you get older. You have kids, you have a family. You're out here making movies, and my wife's at home taking care of my kids and herself on her own. And there's a little guilt factor, but we all got to make a living. We all got to. This is what we do.
Yeah.
It evolves, and you got to get out there and entertain people. And I think I could feel the sacrifice from the crew. Everyone has kids. Our AD has a couple of kids, we're all here for our art. There's a certain warmth, that you get from knowing that we're all here, even though there's other responsibilities. And it's a weird time to be leaving people by themselves. It's a weird time to leave your family alone.
Yeah.
I was leaving and there was riots and people burning stuff down.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about why or how or when or why, what reasons those were happening for, but it was happening.
Yeah.
And I was concerned for my family. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. So, got to tip our hats to everyone who's here making this film happen, because films don't make themselves, dude. You have to have people out there and with good attitudes, Yeah.
Or somebody come up to you right before a meeting and say, what are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Did I do that to you? See, that was crazy. Sometimes you have to be honest,
Yeah,
we talked about this on one of our other episodes. What Tootie's talking about is we had a meeting about about a script that him and I developed that he wrote, and we were meeting with a great director and a great actor, that had done some great things recently in his whole career. I had actually worked with him back in '98, and we were meeting with him, but there was a certain feeling that it wasn't one of those meetings where you knew the other side was as interested as you were in doing it. It was sort of like, oh, if you have money, I'll do it. And that's not a great conversation to have.
Well, the actor was into it. He wanted to do it. But again, he's playing the lead, so why would he not want to do it? It was the director who was kind of like, well, I read the script. I liked it. Let's change it like this. But how much money could we get?
Yeah, how much money do you got? Honestly, we can probably raise, maybe 2 or 3. 4? You think we can get 4? Anyway, it's hard. It's hard, and I think it's okay to have meetings and realize, hey, this project's not going to work out. This project may not be the perfect combination. I've looked back many times on films and saw the writing on the wall early on in the development process. Even in I'm funded and I've hired a director, and a couple of weeks in, I'm like, I should fire this guy, and I didn't. I've never fired. Well, okay, I have fired a director, but I had never fired anyone on a movie when I noticed this is not going to work. This is not the guy for us. A couple of times it happened, and I didn't fire him, and it ended up being a complicated movie to make. Yeah. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay to start, to just realize, oh, this. I know this felt good at the beginning, but maybe it's not the right thing for me, and go ahead and cut the head off of that beast. You can. Yeah. And then find someone who collaboratively makes sense to you. Yeah. Because a lot of people in this business.
I need to learn that more. You're good at that. I'm not.
I hate to say it, but a lot of people in this business are not doing it for the right reasons. I mean, art is not that hard. If you're collaborating, if the best idea wins and everyone knows that, then it's not about being a director or being an actor or being the writer. It's about the collaboration of doing the project. Yeah, there's a chain of command. Of course there is. And people should respect it. And if you have an idea and it floats into a room and that idea doesn't get picked up, there's nothing personal. Yeah. If you had a great idea, believe me, the director or the producer can pick that idea up and go like, ooh, great idea.
Don't be all feelings.
Don't get all feelings. Show your worth. Do your thing.
Do your thing. Don't get all feelings. But you're good at you're just a good producer. That's why we're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're right. Collaboration is everything, especially in independent filmmaking. But see, where I need to pick up some of your strength is when I see something, I got to be able to say, nah, that's it. You're out. When it's hard for me to do that. I don't.
It is hard because sometimes you get into meetings and you just like people, and you enjoy them, and then
you want to
give
them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he'll pull it together. It's not going to be like that. But a lot of times, look. Here's a really great example. There are directors coming out of Sundance that do this great movie, and that movie gets nominated for a Spirit Award or whatever. They do well at these festivals, and movies get nominated, and then you give them a movie that's $1 million, and you don't pay them a whole lot, but it's another opportunity, and maybe they don't have another one. They come into your movie with an attitude that you don't need. Yeah. I'm not getting paid enough. This isn't really mine. I didn't really write this. That's the kind of stuff I dealt with. Yeah. That's someone that shouldn't be working on your movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know what you want to hear from someone who's getting hired to do that? Thank you. Yeah. Oh, my God, what a great opportunity. I'm here for whatever we have to do. That's what you want to hear from someone that was working on any film under $5 million. Yeah. You don't want to hear anything but support and love and let's make this happen. We're all in this together. Anything but that, I'm sorry. We're moving on. Appreciate it. Love that. Loved your movie. I'm sure you're going to do great things. It's just not going to be this movie. Yeah. Burn a bridge. Some bridges are worth burning. I know no one ever says that. Some bridges are worth burning. It's true, man. I'm telling you right now. But yeah, shout out to Extreme Music for being there under circumstances that you would not expect. Yeah. I want to do more stuff with them, man. I want to talk to Russ about writing more Christmas stuff into their catalogs, And also, last thing I want to talk about, which you should be very excited about, is that we got contacted by a podcast company. Yeah. A company
network.
Podcast network.
Yeah. So.
And Let's Get Into It is going to be on a podcast network. Yep. That's kind of like a YouTube thing, right? We're going to be doing commercials and we're going to do ads
and all that
there's
stuff.
There's going to be revenue share.
Yeah, our show got picked up. You know, it's kind of like what you aspire to have. I mean, doing a podcast and putting it out there and hustling for sponsorships, fine. It's a hustle, but when you get involved with a company that specifically helps you promote your podcast, helps you get sponsorship, then it's a business, Like, we do this because we love it. And I told you, Roberts, in the beginning, it's going to be about a year to year and a half.
And we did a year.
And we did exactly a year.
We just had an anniversary. This might be our anniversary show.
This might be it,
but it was
congratulations to you, my friend.
Congratulations to you. Apparently, we have a show that's worth listening to.
And you wanted to quit. Do you remember you wanted to quit?
I did quit.
You did for a week.
Nahara took over for one show, and then I was back.
Then you're back.
You know what's funny is that show that Nahara did, I was actually meeting with Russ Emanuel that same afternoon.
Were you really?
Yeah, you guys did the show. I went to meet with Russ.
Oh, so you were tricking us.
No.
So you went to go raise...
Well, what I tried to do was leave you guys and go do a podcast for Russ, but he wasn't buying that. He was like, hang on, take it easy. Yeah, he was like...
What really happened is when Ann's friend said, hey, I listened to your podcast.
You know
what? Loved it. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Here's the story, right, is that my wife did some sort of talk, and she met somebody who's involved in podcasts, and that young lady went and listened to 5 or 6 of them and said, you've got something. And then she's connected with this guy named Maddie, who runs this network. And we'll talk more about them and the network and all that. I don't mean to leave names out, but right now we're still in process, right?
Yeah.
So they listened to it, and I had a conversation with them. And I'm going to confess this right now, right here, because I think people need to hear this. They made us an offer to have our show on their network. Yeah. And I was honest with them. I said, I don't know anything about podcasting. I don't know anything about how this works. I don't know how you make money. I don't know how you get more listeners. None of it. They sent us a contract. I sent it to you. And I said to you, I'm just going to sign it. You know why? Because what do we have to lose?
Yeah.
And these people seem like they've come from great places. They seem to understand what we're up to. I'm not afraid of jumping into a deal that's fair, that's split evenly, and that we're all sort of going to figure out how to make this happen.
Yeah.
So I don't need to find the big, huge deal right now. I don't need to know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I know this part.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, no idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in with these guys. They seem to like us. They like you. They like what we're doing. They said they'll improve it. They said they'll make it better. They said they'll give us a format. I'm down with that. Yeah. So, hopefully in the next 6 to 8 weeks, we're going to be hearing a different type of Let's Get Into It show.
Well, we can't
same stuff.
We got same stuff, but maybe a little different. We'll see. We got to stick to who we are, and I think we format, like, our show's kind of evolved in a way. At first it was like we were talking about specifics, then we went into a little bit more of like interviewing people and hearing stories, inspirational. Now we've kind of brought it back because of the Rona, more about us working on projects and the struggles and the wins.
Well, I'm really proud of our year because in that year we talked about your $10,000 movie, which isn't a $10,000 movie. We'll talk about that on the next show. And you're finishing it. We've been talking about Christmas movies. Sold one. Making one right this moment in a very complicated world, but we're doing it, so we've achieved that. So not only are we a podcast that talks about movies, that talks about indies, that suggests how you can raise your money to make your stuff, but we also are doing it.
Yeah.
We're real producers, real indie filmmakers, making it happen, raising money, not telling you how to do it and what you're doing wrong, but literally doing it and telling you how we're doing it. So hopefully that's helping things out.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur, we talk about lots of other things, and you can connect indie film to all types of businesses. So I want to thank Ty for being with us today.
Absolutely, thank you.
Let's have you back on towards the end, okay? And
well, Ty, we're here for 2 more weeks, bud. So you got a couple more shows.
So here we go. Tootie.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for sitting in and making it happen too. You know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Show must go on, buddy. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next time on Let's Get Into It. And I want to throw a shout out to Davey Dave.
Shout out Davey Dave.
With the French press.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, guys.
Yeah, man.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
It's pretty good, Roberts. Doing it in your suite.